maybe we can start by you helping us to understand, the word culture, because, and when I say the word culture, I guess, people often interchangeably use terms like interculture, cross-culture, multicultural, transculture. So what is the distinction there?
I think that's important actually to know what we're talking about, because when I'm using culture, I'm not really talking just about music and art and those things, sort of high culture. I'm talking about what I would call a shared system of attitudes, values, beliefs, meanings, and behavior. Shared system of attitudes, values, beliefs, meanings, and behavior. So this can belong to any group, actually. It's not just a national cultural group, can be any group of people. It's the unique thing about it is it's something which people share. You can call it the mindset, or Gerd Hofstede, one of the pioneers of intercultural research, he uses the word software of the mind. Maybe that's a little bit too mechanical. He was an engineer, so he liked those sorts of words. Or I like a definition by the Canadian interculturalist Nancy Adler. She talks about culture is what most people do most of the time. So it's about groups, and that's important. The second part of your question really about these terms, as you say, there are a lot of terms around, and they're all fairly close to each other, and to some extent interchangeable.
Sure.
But I think there are some distinctions. I mean, we talk about multicultural society. That really is referring to the fact that different cultural groups, different ethnic groups, for instance, exist in a society, like in India or like where I come from in London. If you start talking about cross-culture, then you're really thinking of comparing cultures. So you're saying, okay, let's have a look at these two or more cultures and compare them. The next one, intercultural, is really stressing, and that's the word I use most because I find it the most practical. And that's a word which really describes the interaction between the cultures. So cultures coming together, what you described at the beginning, East meets West or whatever. And this is a relatively new term that you also mentioned, transculture. And that's actually, I think, a very interesting development. That's where people are saying we need to go beyond culture and focus actually not so much on difference, but on commonalities. What do we have in common? Because actually finding commonalities, although being aware of the difference, that's the secret actually to successful, for instance, business across borders.